Good morning, everyone. It's Stefan Wesley here, your digital commando, and welcome to another exciting episode of Monday Motivation. It's episode 44. We've got 7 episodes left, guys, to the end of the series. So I'm super excited. I've got some fantastic guests for you. Now, for anybody that's not seen Monday Motivation before, what are we going to be talking about? Firstly, we're going to talk about morning routine and how to get your head in the game and get yourself really, really motivated for that day ahead. Then once we've done that, we're going to talk about how to maintain that motivation over a longer period. So forget the days of at the end of the week not kind of feeling it, or at the end of the month or the end of the first quarter. We want to maintain that motivation. So we're going to talk about how to do that as well. And then finally, we're going to talk about how to stay productive. Now, lots of us are out of routine. I'm at home. I just moved house during lockdown. That was emotional. But we're out of routine, but we can still maintain productivity. So we're going to talk about some tips from our experts in how to maintain your productivity as well. I'll get that out at some point. Right, guys, here are my fantastic guests. Let's bring them into the room. Today we have for you Keith, James, and Lorraine. Not sure what that was. Everyone hear me okay?
Yeah, well, good, thank you.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Guys, thank you very much for joining me today. Really excited to have you on the show. Now, for everybody who's watching at home, or at work, or at offices, or on the road, if you're watching now, we've got fantastic guests, and you can ask as many questions as you like. They'll come up into our box on the side, and we'll try and get them answered for you today. Now, as I say on every single show, all we ask is that you pay it forward. So if you know anybody that you think can benefit and needs a bit of motivation in their life at the minute, then please do tag them in the comments or share the whole show with them on the replay so they can catch it later. Right, guys, let's introduce our guests. So Keith, we're going to come over to you first. Can you please tell us all who you are and what you do?
All right, good morning, Stefan. Good morning, everybody. I'm Keith. I'm a coach, a business coach, performance coach, leadership coach. Lots of banners that sit underneath that. Based in northwest of England. Very lucky to operate not just in the UK but globally as well. That's a good thing about being online, that we can sort of talk to people around the world, which is great. My main purpose in business is to help teams, individuals and businesses perform at their best through their leaders. So it's great to be on the show today.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Keith, and thank you very much for joining us. We're going to come across to Lorraine next. So there.
Hi everyone, I'm Lorraine Stamp from You'll Know When You Get There. I'm a life and business navigator, and pretty much what that means is I help people to get to the destination in their life that they want to, predominantly working with the mindset more than anything. So anyone that's feeling a little bit lost, stuck, lacking motivation, direction in life, I'm the woman to come and contact.
Fantastic. I look forward to hearing more about that. Thank you very much, Lorraine. And James, over to yourself.
Good morning. So I'm James. I'm also a coach, and like Keith, I'm in the Northwest as well. And it's a great location, as he said, to work kind of across the nation, even wider. Airports nearby, motorways, railways. It's brilliant. And now we've got the online world making us accessible everywhere. So what type of coach am I? I'm a coach that helps business leaders or leaders within a business to communicate better and to really nail their customer experience. And I do that through 2 things. One is around really good self-awareness, and the second is understanding the art of communication. You bring the 2 together and you have awesome leadership, engaged employees, and really delighted customers.
That's fantastic. Thank you very much, James. Guys, it's great to have you all on the show. So without further ado, let's get stuck straight into it. So the first thing, and this is one of my favorite subjects that I talk about on the show all week, is morning routines and how to get motivated in the morning. Now, my morning routine is crazy. I won't go through it. Everybody who's watched the show before will know it because I talk about it all the time. But mine takes ages. I've got like a 3.5 hour routine I do every morning before I start work, and it gets me really driven, really ready to go, and I feel great after. Now, Keith, we're going to come over to you first. What is it that you can recommend to anybody watching, or from your own experience, or what you do yourself? How do you tell people to get motivated in the morning, or do you have a routine? Over to you.
Yeah, certainly do. Hopefully that drill goes soon. It's not interrupted too much. But yeah, I think some of the things that I do in the morning as well are much more sort of prevalent in this time of the COVID crisis, because they're really, really important to do, not just a nice to have, but a great to have. So first thing is go for a walk. So I do a lot of walking. I've done hill climbing the last few years. Really, really enjoy that. And I've got an annual goal around that. But every day I go for a walk, pick up a newspaper, and it's time to think, time to reflect, time to observe a bit of nature, as well, as much as the increase in traffic nowadays, which is the downside. But during that walk, what I do is think about 3 goals for the day, 3 goals a day in terms of what I want to achieve. And I think there's probably, for some people, a lot of expectation that actually their goals should be amazing, they should be fantastic. By the end of the day, I could be Joe Wicks and I'll be super fit and have a 6-pack. Or actually, what I could do is I could cut my own hair and look fantastic like Naga Munchetty and all of that sort of stuff, really. But 3 goals for yourself, 1 for you personally. The first one to do, what are you going to do for yourself today? Invest in yourself and a bit of self-care. Second thing is, and if you're a leader or if you're running a business, what are you going to do for your team? You could translate that to what are you going to do for your family if you're not involved in business in that way, really. And the third one is like, what are you going to do for business or maybe the wider community? Is there a volunteering aspect to what you can do around that? So it gives you a real purpose, a real focus. And at the end of the day, and you might have a good day or a bad day, whatever, and actually ticking off those 3 goals, really, really important, really motivational. The other thing is, watch the news for 5 minutes. Get the headlines, get the weather, switch it off. Yeah. And the last thing is, get a good breakfast and a strong cup of Yorkshire tea. You can't go wrong.
Keith, absolutely spot on. I love that. And I think I can't agree with you more. When the Yorkshire tea, there isn't any other tea to drink. And I could go on right tangent about this. And I've just
down with Tetley.
Get rid of that. Them triangle bags out the window. But yeah, no, I actually did when I was an NCO in the army, we had to do, as part of our leadership and management training course, you have to do whichever you're choosing, whatever your area of expertise is. And actually, one of my best friends did actually do a lesson in how to make the perfect cup of tea. And the stigma was that you actually these were any good. So yeah, fantastic. I completely agree with the news as well. Nothing worse than the news at the minute. 5 minutes a day is more than enough, I think, for me. And getting some exercise in the morning. So you said about going for a walk, absolutely spot on. Get those endorphins pumping as well. Speed walking is great as well. So yeah, fantastic insights. Thank you very much, Keith. We're gonna go across and down. We're gonna go to James. So James, you're up next. What advice have you got for people trying to get motivated in the morning?
First things first, I think, is get up out of bed and make that bed. And it's, you've kind of mentioned kind of the army there, and I know that's something that's shared in kind of in the army, but it's important because it's part of that routine and it's part of finishing. You've had your night's sleep. This is now the day you're going to face the day. Make the bed, get it neat and tidy. If you'd have asked me this at the beginning of March, what's my daily routine? It would have been do some exercise. So I used to be at the gym by 6:30 to do a circuit class with a bunch of other people stupid enough to be up at 6:30 in the morning to do a circuit class. Now, when lockdown happened, the gym that I'm at was great. They put some videos together for us to do at home. And I attempted it twice and realized I couldn't do it because I need the other people around me. I need those other lunatics to push me on, to encourage me and to be there for me to work with them. So I've had to change my routine. So I actually do the exercise in the evening now, but it's one of my goals. I will finish work no later than 6:00, no matter what I'm doing, to do that exercise. And then that's a day wrapped up. It's then about having food, being with the family and so on. So I think, doing some exercise at some point in the day is important. If you can do it in the morning, that's perfect. To stretch your legs, take some of the world in, go for a walk. For me, I'm more of a coffee person in the morning. I'm down with the tea later in the day, but it's got to be a good, strong coffee first thing in the morning. And then when I do get to the point where the laptop's open, it's then about looking at the day ahead. So I'm quite a planful person, and some people naturally are planful, some aren't. But it's important to put a bit of plan in place to say, what's my week ahead going to look like? And what's each day going to look like? There's no point in planning a day of stuff that won't happen. That's not realistic. So my day will be realistic, but I will still look at it in the morning. Something might have come up overnight. I might wake up and just not be in the best frame of mind. I might want to just have a half day. So it's important to look at the day ahead and say, is it realistic? What are the 2 or 3 things I do want to achieve personally or in business today? And focus on those and make sure they happen. Anything extra is a bonus, but don't start the day feeling behind, feeling, like you're not ready and feeling like you're not going to be successful, no matter how small those steps are.
Absolutely. James, that was spot on. I love that. The military is a big thing, and I can't remember the name of the guy who did. There was a very famous video that went viral from a American colonel, I think it was, about make your bed in the morning. And it's a fantastic video. For anybody that's not seen this video, just go onto YouTube and put in make your bed. I think it'll probably come up. Absolutely fantastic speech. But yeah, it is one of those things. There's nothing better than, it's almost like the Eat the Frog situation. Anybody's familiar with the Eat the Frog book, which is, and the same reason that people have cold showers in the morning, that kind of thing. It's nobody really enjoys making the bed. Like if you enjoy making beds, then I don't know what's wrong with you, but nobody really enjoys making the bed. So you get up, you do the bed. It's one of those things that's off that list for the day. It's like eating the frog. It's doing that thing that you really want to put off. And also the cold shower, going for a cold shower, because if you're going to jump in a cold shower, everything's pretty much going to get better straight after that. So I like that. Going to the gym as well, I think there's that level of accountability. I'm sure you'll agree, James, that when you're working out with a group, you've got that level of camaraderie. And if you don't turn up one day, people notice. So I like the accountability side of that as well. And the 2 to 3 things a day that you really need to achieve. I know Keith touched on that a second ago as well. That's so good. And I know I was really guilty for this. And my coach has told me to do the same thing. Really have a couple of things that I need to get done. Everything else is kind of, it would be nice if they get done, but the real key things. And I think that's so good from a mental point of view, because now at the end of my days, I can actually go, you know what, I really feel like I've achieved something today because those key things have been done. So if anybody is suffering from that kind of feeling that you're running really fast all day, but you're just not getting anywhere, then I would definitely suggest them to try that technique out, because it works very well personally for me and obviously for lots of other people as well. Lorraine, we're going to come over to you. What are your tips for everybody that needs to get that motivation in the morning?
Well, Keith and James have covered a massive amount there, but for me, one of the things that I've adopted, which has really helped in mindset matters, is getting up half an hour earlier than you want to. So you're pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, but actually you get an extra 30 minutes to do exactly what you want. So that could be exercise, it could be meditation, it could be reading, it could be doing push-ups, whatever it might be, but something to engage your brain and stimulate your brain and kind of shock it a little bit. And since I've been doing that, I've found I've got so much more time. So all of us have that mindset that we never have enough time in life, when actually all we're doing is we're in control of that. So what is it you can do to increase the time? So by getting up half an hour early, it's not a lot. So I really do preach that one. A healthy breakfast is key. So don't fill yourself with stodge. You want to put the good foods in order to create what kind of day you want. So, if you're feeding yourself with oats and berry smoothies, avocado on toast or something like that, it just helps your brain to get into the right active mode rather than creating what we call mind fog or lack of concentration. The other thing that I do, and I do this morning and night, is I write down what I am most grateful for. And this creates the right attitude and appreciation. And today is actually Say Something Nice to Somebody Day. So it's kind of a good time to talk about it. But actually, I think sometimes lockdown has really kind of, I suppose, put this into the forefront of most of our minds around what we are grateful for. But just before you go to bed at night, it's something I do. And when I wake up, I think, I'm still alive. So, being grateful for that is key. The other thing is around our routine of hygiene and how we show up, i.e. getting dressed. Because what frame of mind do you want to create? So if you work in a gym and you want to put your lycra on, absolutely. If you're going to be presenting on this, what do you want to show up as? So create that, brush your teeth, brush your hair, all those simple things make you feel so much better. Because when you look in the mirror, it's that impression that you get. Know also that every day is a new beginning. It's a new chapter in your life. The past is gone. You can't change it, so don't let it kind of pull you back, you know. So whatever happened yesterday, we know in life that we're always going to have curveballs, we're always going to have challenges, issues, problems, but they're yesterday's news. Today is a new day. What can you learn from that that's going to help you? And I think, like some of the Keith and James's, is like, what's the purpose? You know, what do I want to achieve today? The bed making thing is so profound, because even if you don't achieve anything else, you have made your bed. so it's recognizing the small wins sometimes, that, you know, being kind to ourselves sometimes. We wake up and we're just not feeling it, then take a day off. You know, so that's my things that I do now, that's really helped, and this is what I would share with my clients.
That's really amazing, Lorraine. Honestly, I think the healthy breakfast thing, people kind of think about that. Now, you don't have to do it every day. I say that. I might have not had a very healthy breakfast today. We've got Dave, who will be introduced into the group of anybody who's watching this from the digital marketing group. Dave's just joined us, and it's Dave's first proper day at work with the academy. So I took him for a nice all you can eat. Was it not all you can eat? The all you can eat breakfast. Can you imagine? A full English breakfast. We went to the first place I found that you can sit outside and actually have a meal. So that was quite nice. So, but we feel very energized. But it wasn't very healthy, I'll be honest. It's good to have a good breakfast. Get up 30 minutes earlier. I love that idea. I think that's so good. It does make such a big difference. Now, I've started using my Alexa to wake me up in the morning rather than my phone. And I think this has made such a difference for me as well, that if my alarm on my phone goes off and I pick up my phone, my instant go-to thing is, all right, I'm awake now, open social media or something like that, which I was really guilty for. So I've switched over to my Alexa now, and that wakes me up, and you can get it to wake you up with music and things like that. That was so good, and it actually does get me up. And actually, I don't close my curtains at night either, because I like the sun to hit me in the morning, and when I'm awake, I'm awake. And actually, all the lights are programmed to come on at a certain time in the morning, so it's just boom, wake up. So I think it's not a soft wake up at all. But at least I'm definitely awake. That half an hour makes a huge difference. Gratitude, you spoke about that as well. That's something that we preach really, really heavily. We used to talk about on our Thursday shows. We've just changed up the content for the Thursday shows, but gratitude is something I think is so key, especially at a time like now, not just for individuals, but business owners and things like that. It's just such a nice way to obviously not only make yourself feel great, but make someone else feel great. And I think we are going to practice that. What day did you say it was today, Lorraine?
Say something nice to somebody.
If you don't take anything else away from this show, then remember that and make sure you're going to say something nice to somebody today. And get dressed. And I genuinely wear a hoodie. I'm just not being lazy. I just wear a hoodie for work every single day. This is my uniform. But I've got my branded hat on, so I'm all over it. Now, if you do wear a shirt normally or a suit to work, there's lots of people that are still getting dressed like they're going to work and working from home, because that gets their head in the game. Now, chaps, for anybody that's doing Zoom calls that have got a suit on and not wearing trousers, we know. You can't get away with just being in your boxers. You do need to put the trousers on as well. Or we don't want to get into a habit. We talk about habits on this show, and if you start not wearing trousers, it's only a matter of time until you go back to work and forget to take your trousers. So don't be doing that. We're going to go on to our next point for today, which we've talked about how to get up and get that motivation. And now hopefully everyone's got some ideas of how they can get motivated for the morning. Now, once they're up and they're ready and they're good to go, and they've got that kind of idea in the head of what they want to achieve, lots of people are coming back to us and saying, do you know what, I've got the motivation in the morning, but then it starts to drop off maybe by the end of the day or by the end of the week. They're really starting to feel it, or the end of the month. And they want to get to their ultimate, these real passionate goals that they've got. We're going to come over to James first for this one. James, what advice have you got for people that really want to achieve their longer term goals and they're suffering with that lack of motivation over a longer period?
Yeah, I think it's a great point, Stefan. One of the most important things is to break those big goals down. So we, as you said right at the beginning, whether it's quarterly financial goals or collaboration goals or number of customers or whatever it might be, they're big and they can be audacious and they can be 3 months long. And day by day, that's going to feel a long way away, even though you might be taking steps towards it. So the important thing is to break that goal down. So if in 3 months' time you want to achieve a certain goal, a certain target, then what have you got to have by the end of month 2? What have you got to have by the end of month 1? What have you got to have by the end of week 3, week 2, week 1, and even day 1, day 2? And it's an iterative process. So I talked earlier around thinking about what your plan for the day looks like. Then, for me, I plan a week ahead, sometimes 2 weeks ahead, in terms of what client work I've got, what networking I want to be doing, what shows I might be a guest on, business development stuff I want to do, and just time out. Time for me, time for the family, time for friends, exercise, just not in front of the computer. And I plan it in, but I recognize that stuff comes up. So your plans can change. And so that's why it's important to review it and make sure that you're flexing where you need to flex, but you're still staying true to what that goal is. And so I think, it's break it down and put a reward to it. So it's really important to say, actually, if I have achieved what I want to achieve today, am I going to knock off half an hour early and just go for a longer walk or spend a bit more time with the kids in the garden? If I do what I want to do by the end of the week, and whatever that goal is, personal, professional, what am I going to reward myself with on the weekend? It might be the McDonald's all-you-can-eat breakfast. It might be watching a film and just sitting on the sofa and watching a film. It might be unashamedly sunbathing in the garden for an hour. Whatever it is, whatever that reward is, pin it to the things you want to do. So that way you're getting those kind of micro elements of success and reward. And we know that from a body perspective, that having those rewards, having that success, ticking things off the list makes us feel good. So you get all those things as you go towards your goal. And I think ultimately the most important thing to remember is that they're your goals. You don't try and be what someone else is being. Don't try and match someone else's goals. If they've got a goal that feels familiar, it feels attractive, it feels like the kind of thing you would love in your life, it's their goal, it's not yours. Make it relevant to you, to your life, to your family, to your situation, to your business, because then it's more realistic and it's more likely to happen.
Absolutely, James. Great points there. I think this is one of the things that I think lots of people do get wrong. They'll establish what their ultimate goal is, which is fine. I think that's good to do. But it doesn't just happen. There needs to be a plan and a process to get them there. And I've just finished reading a great book. What was it called? Is that good? I forgot it. It's up here. Think and Grow Rich. So fantastic book. And that is lots and lots of it is about really picturing in your head about what that goal is, breaking down a plan to achieve it. And I think, it is absolutely key. But guys, you do need to plan. And the big key thing about making it happen is you can have a plan, you can have a goal, you need to actually do something as well. There actually needs to be a bit of movement and a bit of effort that goes into it. So totally agree with that. I love the incentivizing yourself thing and the reward side. Like, I'm so massively driven by this myself. Everybody loves to get a reward. So I think it's a great way to do it yourself. I know we do it in our team at Sigma and at the Digital Commando Academy. We've got the guys, if they finish all the projects done on time on the Friday, then they finish it. They get a half day. They get a late start on a Monday as well, so even bigger bonus. But I love all that sort of stuff. And we've got people inside the academy. They get gifts and stuff when they do stuff. So I think that's a great way of doing it. What you said there at the end, James, about making sure the goals are your own. I think this is very, very key as well. I think with that, it's tying that level of emotion to your goals. And there was a great quote, and I'm going to misquote it because I can't remember the exact quote. But when they were talking about in the book I just read, they said about when these desires become obsessions, it's when you get the chance of success. And again, I totally agree with that. It's all well and good having the goal, but you really need to attach to it. And as coaches, you'll do this with the people that you work with, I'm sure anyway, and it's things where, so what's your goal? Well, I want to lose weight. Okay, cool. Why do you want to lose weight? Oh, because my boyfriend will like me more. Well, no, that's not necessarily good. There's a lot more to it, and make sure things that people are doing things for themselves. So I really like that, and tying it into emotion as well. Lorraine, we're going to come across to you now. So what advice have you got for people that want to maintain longer term motivation?
I could be here for like a year to discuss this. This is just like the question. The biggest thing for me is when people are lacking motivation or drive, it's probably because they are not in alignment. And what I mean by that is they're not aligned to their values, their personal values. This isn't values that account to everyone in their family or work, etc., but this is their core values. They don't align with their talents and strengths that they have currently, and they don't align with what they love, what they're passionate about. And so I think I would dig a lot deeper with people around kind of what is that? Where is their life going? Where do they want to go? And sort of using where they've been as a lesson and a learn, but then setting the map or the destination of where they want to go. So a bit like a sat nav, without those kind of processes in place, we could just end up anywhere. And then suddenly 10 years has gone and we think, what has happened in my life? So being really clear about what your vision is and aligning it with those things I've mentioned helps people to stay motivated. Now, of course, when you've got family and friends and colleagues and work, etc., you've got to kind of, be compassionate and empathetic, but actually you are driven by your own core motivations and making sure that really fits. The other thing, just kind of when you wake up in the morning, what is it that makes your heart sing? You were talking very much about, the Alexa waking you up, the sun waking you up. But if you are doing what you love, that will wake you up. So actually, when you are doing the thing that you were born to do and you find that gift within you, that is where the motivation comes from. The other thing that helps is surrounding yourself with motivational people, the people that are there for you, the people that are going to motivate you, encourage you, support you. The 5 people that you spend most of your time with in life will be the ones who either take you forward or pull you back. So, that's kind of how I look at it. James touched on a point around this comparing, and I think that is, don't dim your light to fit in. Turn the dial up and be as bright as possible and show up as if the world has missed out. That's my kind of motto, that you are all unique. You've all got something to give. And what is it? Go a bit soul searching and find a great coach that's going to get that sort of, excitement back in your life. James also talked about breaking things down. And that's so key, because sometimes these goals are huge and they feel too scary. And they feel that we're going into panic zone rather than our, stretch zone. So by breaking them down, it feels more manageable, but it's still exciting. And everything we want in life is the other side of our comfort zone. So if it isn't scary, the goal isn't motivational. It's going to give you the same results you've already got. So you've got to keep pushing yourself. And, confidence is not built by just thinking it. You've got to take action. You've got to keep going a little bit further every day, and you'll just build your confidence, your self-esteem, and you'll achieve your dreams.
So I've muted myself. Lorraine, absolutely spot on. I love that. I recently read The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, a book I'm sure you're all very familiar with, and lots of people watching this are very familiar with as well. Now, one of my favorite habits within that book is the sharpen the saw. Now, for anybody that hasn't read the book, this is all about continuing to learn. And I love it, Lorraine, you said there about really finding the thing that you're passionate about. Now, over 30% of what we do in our life is work for the majority of us. As a business owner, it's probably slightly more than that because we do more hours than everybody else. But guys, when you're trying to find that passion, if you're that person that's getting up every day at the minute, maybe you like or don't like, you're on furlough or whatever, but before lockdown, if you were the person going, you know what, I hate my job. Like, I hate my job. So many people are in that situation. Then I think there's a lot of time for making time in your own time, maybe in the evenings after you finish work, to sharpen the saw and potentially try and learn that skill that does follow your passion. For example, you might be working in a bar or a restaurant, but you really like doing digital marketing. So you want to learn that in the evenings, and then potentially at some point you can move career. Now, lots of people are on furlough and working from home in a minute. So this is a great opportunity for people to do that and start to take up a new skill. So potentially you can move into that career that makes you really passionate, and you wake up every day and you feel like you're just going to go and do your hobby rather than that job that you hate. So I can't preach enough. I totally agree with you, mate. I think that's great. Keith, we're going to come over to you. How to maintain motivation on the longer term. What advice have you got for people?
Yeah, really echo James and Lorraine's thoughts here. There's so many things that resonated for me in terms of energy, working with your values, working with your strengths, about the goals and the motivating yourself. And doing something you love every day. You know, it's not a job, is it? It's sort of like, well, I'm really enjoying being in this zone, being this person. Just sort of lifting up a little bit in terms of thinking like big picture around this. The first thing, in terms of setting your goals and your ambitions, there's a piece of research around called fixed and growth mindsets. You can look it up on the internet. It's a lady called Carol Dweck. That's D-W-E-C-K. And she talks a lot about sort of mindset and how sort of when we approach tasks, opportunities, challenges, etc., how we respond to that, how we react, what we get from it is really dictated by our mindset. And if we're surrounded by people with a fixed mindset, it's highly likely we'll have a fixed mindset too. If we're surrounded by people with a growth mindset, the same will apply really. So thinking about, and I love this point about the 5 people most, prevalent in your life, and they could be different if you're in lockdown or if you're not in work currently, etc. Or like many of us on this call, maybe our businesses not as where it used to be. Who are the 5 people that help you with a growth mindset? Who are the 5 people that help you move out of that fixed mindset? Because it's okay to be there sometimes. Sometimes we get a bit stuck. Sometimes we get a bit down. Sometimes we're not okay, to kind of phrase out in the media, but I think it's a really important phrase. So who are the people that help you with a growth mindset? Who are the people who will push you with that? Who are the people who will challenge you around it as well? And you can apply that not just to your personal self, but think about your team. Think about your business, think about your organization, etc. It applies in any of those contexts, really. And the other thing as well is, I think there's, lots of challenges about COVID-19, lots of tough stuff going on, etc. But I read a great piece recently by McKinsey, and they were talking about looking at strategy and goals and all. Reimagining your life, how you work with your team. And one of the things about crises is they do produce challenges, but they'll produce opportunities to rethink some stuff. And the starting point for that is, particularly if you're in business, your customers. Talk to your customers and your clients about how they imagine the future, what they want to see, what's happened for them personally that actually they could apply into their business. Lots of people already getting into the shopping and saying, I'm never going to go back in a store again. Hopefully people do, because lots of us depend on people going into stores, etc. But there are lots of change behaviors that we've experienced both personally and professionally to work with that. So yeah, fixed and growth mindset, that's the key to this. Surround yourself with people with a growth mindset, but people will help you out of that fixed mindset in the right way to do that. And finally, reimagine and review your goals. And the last bit from tapping into something like McKinsey or Harvard or stuff like that, they produce loads of stuff online. We're behind the curve in this pandemic in terms of business behaviors, consumer behaviors, people behaviors. What can you take? What can you learn from countries who are now emerging from that? Nobody's getting it absolutely right. But what are they learning? What are they starting? What success are they having with it as well? You don't need all the answers. They're probably already out there.
Absolutely spot on. I'm just going to remove that comment so I can see you all again. Yeah, Keith, that's absolutely spot on. I love that. And Lorraine, you touched on it as well, that surround yourself by those 5 people. I was on a Zoom call, I think, probably about a month ago. And a lot of people were asking, what is the one thing that you're going to do less of when you come out of lockdown? And most people said, I'm going to do less social media because I seem to be on social media all the time now. And I said, I'm going to really focus on exactly this point. I want to be around less. I think one of the guys in the court and the actual on the Zoom refers to them as mood hoovers. Less mood hoovers and more positive, motivated, and growth mindset people. And that's where I feel very comfortable. So I think, this is very key for people. The shops, you mentioned the shops there, Keith, about people going to the shops and obviously maybe not going to the shops, I suppose. This is something that genuinely worries me. I do get worried about this, obviously being in the industry that I'm in as well. I think that we may find that when the shop's open, it's a bit of a fad again and everybody wants to go to the shop and it's all very exciting and they can see their friends. My worry is everybody's been in that buying mentality of potentially they haven't purchased online before the pandemic. And now they do purchase online. They may find that actually going to the shop is a hell of a lot more hard work than that cool Amazon thing that they've just started using. So this is a big worry, and it will be interesting to see what differences change in people's buying behaviors. I think it is going to be a very interesting time as we come out. Hopefully the high street shops can fight through it and can adapt. I think this is the big thing for businesses now, adapting to this new normal, I guess. So it'll be a very interesting time when we come out. So it was good to bring that one up. Guys, we've got a question that came in. I just want to see if we can answer that for, I can find it. For Sarah. Here we go. What do you, my brain's not working. What do you do when you need a burst of motivation? Movies, motivational speeches, etc. Now, this is something that we get asked this a lot, and lots of people ask very similar questions, which is, do you have a particular piece of music that you find motivational, or do you have a movie or a TV show or anything like that, something that just gives you that initial burst? And I definitely do. Like, huge fan of Suits and Harvey Specter and that lot. And season 4, episode 1, just that intro where Mike's just started a new job and he's turned up in this nice new car and he goes into his fantastic new office. I love that scene. It always used to motivate me, and it's got really cool music on it and things like that. Let's quickly just fly around the room and see if you guys have got anything yourself. Like, Lorraine, you're smiling. You've definitely got something in your mind. What have you got that as a burst of motivation?
So again, it depends on what I am going to do. So if I'm going to be presenting on a stage, then I will have music that gets me in the zone. And again, what is it I'm presenting? So if I'm presenting my life story, then I will play Rachel Patton, the Fight Song, because that is me taking my life back and overcoming adversity. If I want to create happiness, then I'm going to play a song that kind of has that mood. But actually, sometimes I will just pick up the phone and talk to somebody. So I have a selection of people that I know are my go-to people to definitely not do what you called the mood hoover, but to give me that energy and say the things that will get me into that right frame of mind. You know, that whole you can, you will, you're awesome, whatever it might be. You just need sometimes that to hear it. You might not be feeling it and you want to hear it. So whether that is music, whether it's a movie or whether it's your people you're surrounding with yourself. So actually, James is one of my go-to people. If I feel I need some energy or motivation, he's got that natural way about him. So.
Oh, fantastic.
So, yeah.
Well, James, perfect. Good intro for you. What's your advice for Sarah? She's a burst of motivation. Have you got something that you do? Have you got any advice for Sarah?
It's funny Lorraine mentions that because it sounds like we're completely bigging ourselves up here, but yeah, Lorraine and I will talk, and I'll take that with compliment. Thank you. But Lorraine is, it's the same. When we have a conversation, there's not necessarily a purpose to it. It's just talking with someone that's like-minded, knows the struggles, knows, why we do what we do. And when you're just not having one of those days, someone that has been through it and can pull you out of it is fantastic. So I think, speak to someone, whether it is someone that gets you from a business perspective, or it's just someone in your life that makes you laugh, makes you happy, you haven't spoken to for ages. I've made a real effort of that over lockdown to catch up with people who might be a completely different generation to me. They might be like my dad's best friends, but it's been important to follow up with them, because my father isn't around anymore, but I'm kind of maintaining that relationship with them. And we just have a laugh and we just talk absolute rubbish, but it makes me feel good. Music is a big thing. And I don't have a particular taste in music, but I think when I need to be get myself in a certain mood, there are certain genres of music or certain songs that will work. And so I will just stick it on. I'll go to a different room, choose whatever son or speaker is in that room, and just put something on for a bit and just listen to it. And I mean, there's so many motivational speeches, motivational people out there who you could easily find. And I could recommend 2 or 3 of them, and there'd be people out there who would love those people as well, or they might not resonate with them. So I think it's, you know who the people are when you read their posts, when you watch their videos, when you hear their podcasts, and you feel it. Just listen to one of their podcasts, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, just get yourself back in the room, get yourself back in the right headspace, and then just go back to what you were doing, just with new energy and new vigor.
Awesome. Well, some great tips for that, for Sarah on that one. Keith, I'll come to you as well. So have you got any advice for anybody that, or for Sarah, that would need a burst of motivation, or have you got something that you use yourself to give yourself a boost of motivation?
Yeah, I think. I mean, music seems to be a common theme here, you know. But as a baby boomer, nobody will recognise any of the music that I listen to today. But my go-to is Disco Inferno by Brothers Johnson. It's a fantastic tune. Play it loud in your car. Go and sit in your drive and listen to it. Annoy the neighbours. It's fantastic. You want to do that. I think also it's sort of like, you know, we touched earlier on the 5 people surround yourself with. So who is that one person? Who is that one person? Almost like, you know, and give you that bit of a lift, a bit like a yin to your yang or whatever it is. And they phone you up, and, you know, you can phone them up and they'll always pull you out of something. Okay. But equally, they can do the same with you. So who's your motivational buddy to work with that? Have a motivational buddy. And the third thing really is sort of like, you know, in reflection, maybe in that sort of downtime in the morning, in the exercise, in the meditation, etc. If you have had a period of where you are feeling demotivated, what's been the trigger for that? What's been the absolute trigger? Have you been using the right energies? Have you been fully using your strengths to the maximum potential? And, you know, learn from that, really. That's not to say we're human. We all get demotivated, etc. But actually, the person to motivate us is right in front of us right now, you know, and we can seek inspiration. We can get the sort of like the buzz and the energizing through music. We get a lift from people to surround us with, but actually knowing ourselves, understanding what sends us on that downward curve sometimes, really, really key. And then we're, you know, not just like using these top tips today, but actually get to understand ourselves and make it that personal motivation lift then.
Absolutely, Keith. I love that. And music is, always you said about music, well, we all said about music. I think music is such a key one. We've got Dave, who's just agreed that his big thing is music as well. I love it. And actually, I've spoken to quite a few people that have actually said, take it a step further. And I thought this was quite strange. And they said, okay, when you're on your way to your next meeting and you really want to get a little bit of an extra boost, what I want you to do is put the music up in the car and sing to the song as well. You've got to sing it out loud, and that really works as well. So then you have me singing along in my car. Luckily, the windows are closed because otherwise people would throw things at my car. But yeah, have a little bit of a sing song in the car on the way to your next meeting, and honestly see how it feels. It does. It really weirdly works. So absolutely, guys, we've got a couple of minutes. We're gonna have to fly through the very last point. I hope that's okay. Our last point for the day was talking about how to maintain productivity. Now, everyone's out of routine, generally speaking, and trying to maintain productivity when you've got maybe kids in the house that you're not normally there, or pets or anything like that. That sometimes we get out of it. It can be quite complicated. So, Lorraine, we're going to come to you first. What are your top tips for everybody who's trying to maintain that productivity while working mainly at home?
Okay, so I discovered something called the Pomodoro technique. It may be something that you know, but if you don't, it basically means that you work in 25-minute stints and take a 5-minute break. That doesn't mean that, you know, the 5-minute break has to be that you literally walk away, but it's being mindful that you work 25 minutes because this pretty much is when you're most focused. And actually, if you try and go too long by doing something for too long, your concentration starts to dither and you're less effective. So taking regular breaks is key. And what that looks like for you is up to the person, whether you want to, go for a quick walk around your house, just stand up and stretch, have a drink, pick up the phone to someone, whatever it might be. But it's a great technique, and I think, you know, my productivity levels have increased massively over lockdown, because it is not productive to do Zoom call after Zoom call after Zoom call, because it's more energy that's consumed by looking at this screen. The other thing is to create the workspace. Now, we are in a situation at the moment where however many people are in your house and however many people are working at home and children doing their schoolwork, it can be quite difficult. But by creating the workspace and trying to shut that down when you have actually finished work helps you to rejuvenate and get your mind back in the right place. So having everything you need within your workspace as well, and keep it clear. You know, I'm a bit OCD, but I like everything in a certain place. And actually, there is scientific research that actually says if you have a clean working space or clean home, etc., it keeps your mind clear too. So, you know, create what you want in your mind, basically. The moving about is key. So, you know, don't work for 8 hours and not move around. You know, if we're sat in this position, not only is it damaging for our brain cells, because sitting stops, it makes us feel sluggish, but actually moving around helps us to actually think, because when we're moving, we actually think more effectively. So taking regular breaks. The other thing is a little bit like breaking down your goals, but do the dreaded tasks, or the big rocks, I call them, first. Get them out of the way. You know, there are so many people that have 20 things to do on their to-do list, and it's like, oh, I'll do all the small stuff, and it's tick, 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 and it all feels great, and then shit, I've got this massive, horrible job to do, and I have no energy. Ugh. So get that stuff done first, and it will make you feel better. And I think the other thing is, what's your purpose? Why are you doing it? Because I don't know. I mean, I still do these things, but there's loads of nice things that I can do, and I will probably favor them. But do they actually add to the purpose? Are they going to get me my dream future? So, you know, make sure that whatever you do is going to add value, and say goodbye to some of the nice stuff, because is it really adding value? You know, still being kind to yourself and kind to others, but we procrastinate because we're wasting time so much. And again, Keith and James have touched on this point, but being self-aware is so key around what is it that I am good at and I can actually put my full attention on. And the stuff that I'm not good at, I either make the time to get better if I want to, or I delegate and give it to somebody else that can do it faster, quicker, you know, all that kind of stuff. And then the ability to say no. That's probably a biggie for people, because they're pleasers. They can't say the word no, but actually by saying no, they'll be able to free up time and achieve so much more. So I think those are my main things that I would sort of focus on.
Absolutely, Ray. And I think one of the things that I got most shocked about when you, at the beginning, you said about Zoom calls and things like this, and lots of people are doing Zoom calls now. Now, it shocked me how tiring they are. We think, I don't actually have to go anywhere. I don't have to really do anything. It's just at home. But they are surprisingly tiring. It is something that I've heard from many people that are doing online networking and things like that, that they're just like, you know what, I can't do this twice a day. It's just really, really knackering. That was something really surprising to me, but I feel that. And then also, this is one of the coolest things ever, and I totally would. I'm 100% behind you with this one. I think everybody should do it. If there's something, number one, you don't like doing it, or number two, you're not very good at it, outsource it or delegate it. 100%. It was the best advice I ever got when I started my agency. I was lucky enough to get another guy who'd been running an agency, one of, in theory, my competitors, but he was miles ahead of me. Took the time to sit down with me as a startup owner, and the first thing he said to me is, things that you don't like and don't enjoy, outsource them straight away. You focus on what you enjoy and what you're good at, and carry on that. And it was the best advice I ever had. Not only do you feel better because you're still doing what you love, but you're just not as tired because you're not spending lots of time trying to learn I don't know, bookkeeping when you're not a bookkeeper, you're creative and things like that. So yeah, 100% with you on that one. Keith, we're going to come over to you. What tips have you got for productivity for people? Oh, is Keith with us? We'll come over to you, James.
No problem. So I will build upon what Lorraine said then with two things. One is when you are being planned for, you're breaking stuff down, use your calendar, whatever that is, paper calendar, Outlook, Google Calendar, whatever mechanism you have for structuring your day, your week, use it to best effect and be realistic. So if you're approaching that big rock and it's going to take you 2 hours, plan in 2 hours, maybe plan 2.5, because you're going to have times where you get distracted, you distract yourself, but you want to get it done. So don't over plan too much in a day, and be clever with it and set boundaries. So he talked about kind of being zoomed out with loads of Zoom sessions. There's a real ease at the moment of networking and being able to reach so many people across the nation, across the world through an hour Zoom session, an hour and a half, however long it might be. And the time we're not spent traveling to a networking meeting, we could be doing another networking meeting, but it does tire us out. So I think set some boundaries that says per week, I'm only going to do 4 networking sessions, and it will only be 1 per day. And it doesn't have to just be that one networking group. It might be a few of them, but I'm going to purposefully pick which ones I attend with a specific reason and stick to that, and resist the urge when someone contacts you saying, join this one, join that one, join the other one, to say, actually, I've planned them in because I've got other stuff that I've got to do. So just put those kind of boundaries in place to help you manage your time through the day and week.
Okay, thanks, Stefan. I think I'm back on mic now. Yeah. So yeah, very simple for me. I think two things. One is don't try and be a hero. So and that can apply both personally and professionally, really. I think there's something about overloading with information and help and advice we're getting through the internet right now. Some of it, which is really, really good. But I heard a lot from my clients, particularly the last 3 or 4 weeks of lockdown. I'm exhausted by Zoom. I'm exhausted by how much advice I've got. And I can't remember where it is anymore now. I can't remember the web link or the email I got, that sort of stuff, really. So maybe time to connect a bit and maybe use some of the tips from today and help you refocus around that. But also, I've been a hero in terms of a parent. My boys are now 34 and they've got grandkids, or I've got grandkids, they've got their own children. And there's a challenge for, male and female partners, relationships, etc. So don't try and be the hero with that, but all the answers, and that super person, I put it into 3 little circles. One is about what can I control right now? What's within my remit to be able to do? What can I physically achieve by maintaining my best productivity and by maintaining my best self? So what goes into that control box? What's in the concern? What's in the concerns box in terms of what if I don't hit this? What if I don't meet that goal? What if I miss out somebody, etc.? And put that in a second circle. And then look at what you want to influence. So how do you want to extend control? What do you want to take out of that circle of concern and deal with? What you don't want to take out of it, just leave it there, because it isn't going to change. Yeah, we aren't going to be that person. We aren't going to be this person, etc. Focus on the things you control, the things you want to influence. And when you look at the things with influence, look at it with a growth mindset, because you can influence much, much more than you thought you could. Tomorrow I'm doing a breakout sessions in webinar. 4 weeks ago, I did my first webinar ever. Today, I'm on this digital radio channel. It's like, wow, but there's still 100 things that are in my circle of concern, and actually just put them to one side, because they're not going to change, and it isn't going to energize me to focus on them right now.
I'm muted. I'm talking to myself. That was brilliant, Keith. Guys, it's been absolutely fantastic. We have run out of time for today. So for anybody who joined the show late, let's quickly run around the room. I just need from each of you who you are, what you do, and most importantly, how people can contact you after this show. So Lorraine, let's come to you first.
Okay, so Lorraine from You'll Know When You Get There. I'm a life and business navigator, helping you to navigate through the fog of your mind, helping you to create the dreams that you've wanted in your life. And just a lasting thing that I just want to share is please take care of how you speak to yourself, because you are always listening. So really think about the words, the language, the tonality of what you're feeding your mind with every day. Make it positive and make it active, and that's going to help you go forward in life and not stand still. And how you can get hold of me anywhere, social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, website. Yeah, I'm there.
Fantastic. Cheers, Lorraine. James, over to you.
So I've got two businesses. So my coaching business is Momentous. So you can check out more at momentous.uk.com. I've got another business called My People Club, which is a membership business aimed at coaches and trainers, providing everything they need all in one place. But you can find me on LinkedIn, and as I said, momentous.uk.com or mypeopleclub.com.
Fantastic. Thank you, James. And finally, last but not least, over to you, Keith.
Yes. So I've got my own business, which you can find. Just search Keith Stopforth on the web, you'll find that. But today I'm representing Co-Creation. I'm an associate with Co-Creation. I've worked with them for about 8 years now. Co-Creation Group, you'll find us on the web. You can also connect to Co-Creation via my LinkedIn profile, and just go on LinkedIn, search my name as well, and be happy to talk to you there. Been great to be on the show, but equally just call any of us up. Happy to have that time, that conversation. It isn't always about the sales process, but sometimes it's about connecting with people like us who can help you through some challenges and opportunities.
Absolutely. Couldn't mirror that more. Guys, you've been absolutely fantastic. Loads of absolutely great information that people can take away and implement absolutely straight away. So thank you so much for giving up the time. Guys, for everybody watching on the show, we've had 3 fantastic guests once again for you today. So all we ask is that you pay it forward. They're giving up the time to share their knowledge and experience with all of us. So if you know anybody that could benefit that may have missed the show today, then please do tag them in the comments or share the show with them like always. Guys, we are back tomorrow for Tuesday Trends at 11 o'clock, as always, with some more fantastic guests where we'll be talking about digital marketing and how you can increase digital marketing. This one you get to ask me questions, because that subject I might actually know a little bit about. Guys, you've been absolutely great. Once again, thanks for giving up time. And I'm sure I'll catch up with you all very, very soon. And for everybody, final thought for today. Make sure, what was it today, Lorraine? Say something nice to someone day?
It certainly is, yeah.
So, final thought for the day. Everybody, make sure you go away and go and say something nice to someone straight after this show. Guys, thank you very much. Viewers, thank you very much. See you all tomorrow. Peace out.
See you later.
Thank you.
Guys, bye.
Thanks for having us.